Okay guys, welcome to another video of our series. In our last video we talked about navigating, setting up our router and using the React router. And in this video we're going to see how we can navigate through pages, navigate from our login page to our sign up page to our profile page in using React router. So first thing we're going to do in this video is to set up our different pages. Right, this is a new project. I created a new project and I just have my folder, my page folder empty. So first we're going to create our login page. I'm going to do login.jsx, right? And in my login page, I'm just going to export my single component. I'm going to say export default function login, and this is going to return a single page, a single element, right? So first we're going to return a div. So let's just wrap this in a div. We're going to return a div, and in the div we're going to have a second div. So just work with me while I build the login page, right? Inside the second div I have a h1, which is supposed to be our login title, login, right? Login here, right? That is that for that. So after that we're going to create a form element. The form element, we're going to have a div that's going to hold our labels. So I have a div and I have a label. What's the label for? This is a label for email. I'm going to say email, and this label is going to have email input, of course. So this is what we have in our label. We're going to have HTML4 attribute, and the label is for email. For that we're going to have a style. We're going to have a style for this, right? We're going to create all the styles for it. So let's just skip this for now and set up the elements. So that's that for the email. Label, we'll go over to the input. In the input we're going to give it an ID of email, and of course we're going to give it a type of email. So this is supposed to be email, a string. So let's also give it a placeholder. Let's give it a placeholder. Right, what's going to be our placeholder? Say eu@example.com. right? So this is a placeholder for our email, and of course our email is going to have a style that we will talk about later. So the next div here is going to hold our password label and password input. So we're going to say div that's going to hold a label. The label is going to be for password, right? Of course we can just let's say for HTML4, and it's going to be HTML for password. Move over to the inputs. After that we're going to have an input. Of course the same thing we have there. We're going to have an ID of password, and it's going to have a type of password, and of course a placeholder. We're just going to say asterisk, right? So after that we're going to create a button. We're going to create a button, right? We're going to create a button, and the button is going to have a value of login. So inside the button is going to have a type of submit, and of course after that we're going to have let's just give some text. We're going to say don't have an account. All right, we're going to say don't have an account. Then we're going to have an anchor tag that will have a href anchor tag. Href is going to be to sign up. So if you don't have an account, you need to sign up. So the value for the anchor tag is going to be sign up. Yeah, so that is it for that, right? So let's start our React application and see what we have. Open up our terminal. I'm going to do npm run dev. Now hit enter, and my application will open in port 5173. If I do this, this is what I have, right? This is because if we go back to our app.jsx, we've not declared any route. So let's do that. From our last video, we can do route, specify the path, and specify the element. So this element in this case is going to be a login component, right? So I'm going to say login. Don't forget to import your login from your pages, else you're going to have errors. So if we do that, if I save, go back, this is what we have, right? We have this. So we're going to add little stylings to this to make it look a little bit better. If we go back to this, we're going to first of all go to our login page. In our login page, we're going to add styles to the parent div, and all other divs. So we're going to say from the parent div, we're going to say style. We're going to say style, and we're going to give a property, say container style. So container style is a variable. We're going to declare these style properties. So from here, I'm going to declare all my styles from here. I'm going to declare a variable called container style. So const container style equal to an object. So this is going to have all our style objects. I'm going to give it a minimum height, a mean height. I'm going to give it a mean height of 100 VH. I'm going to give it a background color. I'm going to give it a background color of linear gradient. Right, so I'm going to say to bottom right, and I'm going to specify, I'm going to use a special code, say #d 0e1f9. Right, that is the from, and I'm going to have another style, another color, say #f9 d0 f9. Right. So if we do this, this is what we'll have. So let's save this and go back to application and see what we'll have. Nothing really happened. So let's proceed. Let's give it a display of flex. Let's give it align center. Let's align all the items to center. Let's also justify the contents to center. So just justify content to center. After that, we're going to give it a padding, which is 1 rem, and we're going to give it a font family, which is going to be Arial and sans serif. So I'm just going to add the styles for other elements. I'm going to do that, and I will continue with this video so it doesn't take our time. I'm going to drop links to the GitHub repo where you can find the style properties. So back to this, I just copied my style properties and I pasted here. What I did was to create a style property for the container style, for the card style. I just did background color, box shadow, and everything. The link to this will be provided for us. So what we're going to do next is to apply these styles to all the elements, just like we did for the container, right? So the second div is going to have, is supposed to be div, please. Yeah, the second div is going to be our card style. So we're going to give it a style. I'm going to call it card style. Form is, we're going to give a form a style, and we're going to say our form, or let's just ignore the form here. Let's ignore the form and move over to the children of the form. The first child of the form is going to be form group style, right? Just like we declared here, we have the form group style here. So we're going to give it to this group. We're going to say style, and we're going to give it form group style the same as this. We're going to say style, and we're going to give it form group style. Right, we're going to give style for our label style and our input style. So this is going to have a style of our label style, and this is going to, I'm going to duplicate this to the second label, which is this, right? And our input is going to have a style. We're going to call input style, which of course we're going to duplicate to the next input. So if I save this, we go back, this is what we have, right? We have this here. So let's proceed. Let's say what's left to be styled, the button and this other stuff. All my styles are applied. I have the style for the container, I have the style for the card, I have the style for the title, I have the style for the form group, I have the style for the label, I have the style for the input style, of course the button style and the footer style, right? So if we check out this is what we have. This is what we have, right? We have the style properties here. Remember, the essence and the goal of this video is to see how we can navigate through pages, right? So I'm also going to create another page, which is going to be our sign up page and our profile page. So I'm just going over to our pages. I'm going to create signup.jsx, and I'm going to also create profile.jsx. So having created all of this, I'm just going to get all my I'm just going to put up my sign up page just like we did for our login page, so it doesn't take much of our time. And I'm going to do the same thing for this profile page. At the end of the day, I'm going to show us what we did, and I can drop the link to make reference to. So guys, welcome back. I have my sign up page ready, just almost the same thing we did for our login page, and I have my profile page ready. All I did was to create a profile page, create a card where we have the profile image, have the name and all of this. So the next thing we're going to do is to go over to our app.jsx and declare out for our profile and for our sign up. So this is going to be sign up and this is going to be profile. So now we're going to import our profile page, our profile component and our sign up component. I'm going to do sign up, import sign up from our pages, and I'm going to do profile, import profile page from our pages. So if we go back here, we have our profile page because we are in the profile route. If we go back to our sign up and if we go back to our sign in, right? So the next thing we want to do is to click on this button and see how we can navigate to these pages. There are two ways to do that. We can do that programmatically, and we can also do that using the link component. So let's start with the link component. So how do we use the link component to navigate from pages to pages? Let's go back to our login. We have a button. So the first thing we're going to do is to wrap our button in a link tag, right? We're going to import link from React router DOM. I imported link and I wrapped my button in a link tag. Here I imported link from React router DOM, right? So this link takes a parameter or an attribute called to. This to specifies the path you want to link to. So from here we already declared our path, and we say our path are sign up and profile. So from the login page, if you click on login button, we want to go to the sign up to the profile page. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it as the value of my to. So this I'm saying, if I click on the link, take me to profile page. So if I save this and I go back to our page, let's reload and make sure we're good. So if I click on this button, it takes me to profile page, right? So this is one way to route between pages using React router DOM. Right, from here we can do that. So from here as well, let's see what happens now we're using anchor tag to navigate. So from here we can say, right, we've navigated to the sign up page, but then that is not what we want to achieve. The next method to do this is to programmatically navigate from one page to another. And how do we do that? We use React router method called the useNavigate. All right, so how do we do that? First of all, let's create a login controller. Let's create a login controller. Here I'm going to create a login controller. I'm going to say function login controller. What is this login controller going to do for us? Whenever I have, so instead of using the link, I'm now going to use the useNavigate method, right? So I'm going to add an event listener to the button. I'm going to add the onClick event listener to the button, and whenever that happens, I want it to call the login controller, right? So what's going to happen in the login controller? First, I'm going to initialize the useNavigate method. I'm going to say const navigate equal to use. So this is going to be const, right? Const navigate equal to use navigate. right? So I'm importing useNavigate from React router DOM. Please take note of this. I'm importing useNavigate from React router DOM, and I'm initializing it with navigate. So what happens next? The navigate variable accepts two parameters. The first parameter is the path we want to navigate to, and the second parameter is the data I want to pass to the next page, which is going to be in what we're going to discuss in our next video. But for this video, we're going to talk about just the first parameter. And from here, if you look at what we did here when we used the link, we said we're linking to the profile page. So the same thing happens to the useNavigate. Let me just show something. If I hover on useNavigate, you see it returns an imperative method for changing the location used by link. So it basically uses the same approach we used here in the link component. So what I'm going to pass in is here. So this is basically saying whenever I click the button, call the useNavigate method and navigate me to profile. So if I save this, reload this to make sure we're still good, and if I click this button, it still takes me to my profile. So this is basically how to navigate from one page to another using the useNavigate method and also using the link component, right? So now we're going to change our anchor tag to a link component. So I'm going to replace this to a link. Right, so where we have don't have an account, sign up. So this is going to link us to our sign up page. So in our link, we're going to have a parameter called to, which is going to take in what is the path to our sign up. Here we have it as /sign up. So this is going to be /sign up. If I save this, I go back to reload. Of course, it reloads automatically, but we'll just reload to make sure we're on the safe side. So if I click on sign up, it takes me to my sign up page. So after sign up, we want to now go over to our profile. The same way we went from login to profile, we want to also go from sign up to profile. So let's go to our sign up page and do almost the same thing we did in our login page. And what are they? We're going to create a handler, say sign up handler. We're going to create a function called sign up handler. And what's the sign up handler going to do? First, we're going to initialize our useNavigate. I'm going to say const navigate should be equal to useNavigate. Right, so my sign up handler is going to just navigate me to /profile. Right, if we do this, then we're going to add an event listener to our button. We're going to have on click event to our button, which means by the time we're done, if we click on sign up, it takes us to our profile. But before we do that, let's go over to also replace our anchor tag with a link element, a link component. So this is going to be link imported from React router DOM, and we're passing this link. Why is it linking us to? Because here we say if you already have an account, just go and log in. So this link is going to take us to login, right, /login. This is saved. So if I go back here, if I click on already have an account, login, this takes let's just be sure we're good. So this is not supposed to be login. If we go to our app.jsx, we don't have any path for login. So we're saying our login is our index page or our base URL. So we'll go back to our profile to fix that. And if we do that from our login, we can say already have an account, login. It takes us back to our login page and that. So let's also try out signing up. If you sign up, click on sign up, it takes us to our profile page. So that is it, guys, for this video. We've been able to see how we can navigate from login page to sign up page to profile page programmatically, and also using the link component. In our next video, we're going to see how to protect these signups, how to validate our input to make sure the user types something before they can go to this profile page. If the user leaves any input empty, you should not be able to navigate them to the profile page, right? So that is it. If this was helpful, please like, share, and don't forget to subscribe. See you guys in the next video. Bye.